My wife wanted a break from our marriage. 3 weeks later, she returned and said she wanted to talk. I had spent those 3 weeks caught in a storm of emotions, confusion, sadness, and a quiet fear that maybe she wouldn't return at all. When she walked through the door, suitcase in hand and eyes filled with something unreadable, my heart nearly stopped. We sat across from each other on the couch, the air heavy with unspoken words. Her fingers trembled slightly as she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "I didn't leave to hurt you," she began, her voice barely louder than a whisper. "I left because I needed to understand who I was outside of being your wife." That sentence struck me like lightning. I had thought we knew who we were. We'd been married for 6 years, built a home together, survived our fair share of struggles. But now, sitting in the same living room where we had once danced to silly songs and cuddled through movie nights, it felt like we were strangers. "Why didn't you talk to me before leaving?" I asked, trying not to sound accusatory. I wasn't angry, at least not yet, just hurt. Deeply, she sighed, looking down at her hands. "Because I knew you'd talk me out of it, and I didn't want to be talked out of it. I needed the silence to hear my own voice." Her words made sense in a way that also hurt. I had always been the one who solved things, fixed them. Maybe I hadn't left space for her to breathe. Maybe I had unknowingly made our life about my pace, not ours. "What did you learn?" I asked after a pause. She looked up at me then, eyes full of something softer. "I learned I still love you. That hasn't changed. But I also learned I had lost myself in this marriage. I gave and gave until I couldn't recognize who I was without you." I swallowed hard. It was honest, painfully honest. But part of me respected her for saying it. "And now?" I asked, "What do you want now?" She took a deep breath. "Now I want us to try again, but not the same way. I want to rebuild differently. With boundaries, with space, with mutual respect, not just love." I nodded slowly. "I want that too, but I can't pretend it didn't hurt when you left. I was scared. I thought I'd lost you for good." "I know," she whispered, "and I'm sorry. I truly am. But I couldn't keep going the way we were. It wasn't sustainable, for me at least." We spent hours talking that night. For the first time in a long while, it wasn't surface-level conversations. We dug deep, talked about the little resentments, the big silences, the moments we had brushed aside that had actually meant so much. She told me she'd been unhappy for nearly a year, but didn't know how to say it without making it sound like she didn't love me. She admitted to crying in the shower, so I wouldn't hear. I felt like someone had ripped open a curtain and shown me a stage I didn't know existed. And I confessed, too, that I had seen signs but was too afraid to ask. That I sometimes felt like I was walking on eggshells but didn't know why. That I had felt lonely, even with her beside me. We cried together. Real tears, the kind that cleanse more than they burn. It was the first honest moment we'd shared in a long time. She didn't ask to move back in right away. She said she wanted to take it slow, maybe do couples therapy, and rebuild the trust and understanding that had frayed over time. It was hard. Every day brought its own challenges. I had to relearn how to be a partner, not just a provider. She had to relearn how to be honest with herself before being honest with me. We started dating again. Quiet dinners, long walks, silly texts during the day. Slowly, we found laughter again. Not the same as before, but maybe even better, deeper, more intentional. Some nights were tough. There were times I wondered if it would have been easier to just move on. But love isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be real. One evening, we sat on a park bench watching the sunset. She turned to me and said, "You know, I never stopped loving you. Even when I was away, I just forgot how to love myself." That moment changed everything for me. I finally understood her leaving wasn't about abandoning us. It was about saving herself so she could return to us stronger. Months passed. We did therapy, read books together, practiced active listening. Slowly, the walls came down. I began to see her again, not the version I had shaped in my mind, but the real her. She started painting again, something she'd given up years ago. I supported her this time, bought her supplies, made space for her creativity, and she supported me too, encouraging me to reconnect with my brother, whom I hadn't spoken to in years. Our life became more balanced, more intentional. We stopped going through the motions and started living with purpose. Eventually, she moved back in. It wasn't a dramatic moment. No fanfare. Just two people deciding they want to keep choosing each other. And now, a year later, I can honestly say her leaving was the best, worst thing that ever happened to us. Because from the ashes of who we were, we built something new, something real, something strong. We still have our fights, still disagree, still mess up, but we also forgive. We talk, we try. Love, I've learned, isn't about never breaking. It's about learning how to mend. Together, she wanted a break, and I gave her one. But when she came back, she didn't just return to me. She brought herself back, too. And this time, we're both fully here, fully seen, fully loved,